sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Florida.
Molina against Bell. Down to a 2-run lead. 2-0 pitch. Swung on and driven. Left field and deep. And he has tied it. Wow. Ozzie Guillen is upset, and I think it's about this double switch. Guillen doesn't even want to talk to Bob Davidson. Slow tapper. Reyes throws, and he beats it. And it's 8-6 St. Louis. Fastball lined into center field. Robinson makes the catch, and the Cardinals come from behind and in extra innings hold on. 8-7 is the final. In one of the stranger games you'll see. Downtown Miami, you just saw the sights and the sounds of last night's Cardinal win. As my partner Tommy Hutton said, the most crushing loss of the season for the Marlins. Tonight, game 2 of this 3-game series. Marlins and Cardinals. Come on in. Marlins Park tonight. Roof is closed, AC's on, and we're ready for baseball. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, along with Tommy Hutton. You saw the sights, you saw the sounds. You said it was the most crushing loss. How do the Marlins move forward? They've had trouble, obviously, in the last few days getting it right.
You know, the amazing thing about seeing some of the sights of last night, I'm just thinking to myself, if Reyes' ball that he hit well finds a gap, the Marlins win that game last night. Resiliency, resiliency, resiliency. That's what you have to play this game at the major league level. You're back at it every night, and after a tough loss, which I thought was the toughest loss of the year last night, they got to go back at it again tonight. That's all.
Marlins have just 1 win in their last 3 games, but they have 3 terrific starts from their starting pitchers. They're hoping that Carlos Zambrano can give them a good start tonight.
Yeah, they are, and it's a ball club that he's matched up against a lot. Zambrano over his career, 12-6 against the Cardinals. Kyle Loesch won the first ever game played here at Marlins Park in that opening night. He's having a good year. He was their winningest pitcher last year for that World Championship team.
So there you have it. Kyle Loesch, obviously Carlos Zambrano. That's our matchup tonight on an email and a Twitter Tuesday as well. So you can get involved. So get those fingers ready. Get those devices ready. When we get back, we'll talk about Heath Bell's struggles last night in the 9th. Marlins Cardinals, Part 2. Let's head out to Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine.
Hey, Rich, thank you very much here. Marlins trying to turn it around here for Game 2 of this series tonight. And, boy, Heath Bell had such a great run going. Unfortunately for Bell and the Marlins, last night was not one of his good performances, giving up the 4 runs in the 9th inning. But this is after a run already at 11 consecutive, 11 out of 12 saves over a 21-game stretch.
Yeah, his last 9 outings have been absolutely outstanding, not allowing an earned run, 7 saves in that span. But last night, unfortunately, had an off night, 1 inning, 3 hits, 4 earned runs. Yadier Molina delivering the big blow with a home run and a leadoff walk, which unfortunately scored. But he's still the closer. He's going to be right back in there tonight if the situation dictates that. And I'm sure Ozzie Guillen has no qualms about putting him in.
All right, how about a brighter spot to throw it to break? The national anthem singer Cassie Bersach, 24 years of age, singing tonight. And she finished off the anthem, and then Juan Gallego came up, age 28, and proposed to her. They met at the groundbreaking here some years ago at Marlins Park. Groundbreaking, and here after singing the anthem, she did say yes, right?
I think that's a yes. That's a big yes.
What a great moment for 2 wonderful Marlin fans, and she did a terrific job in the anthem, and I will look for them and try to chat with them during the game sometime. But congratulations to Cassie and Juan. Marlins fans forever. Marlins Park will always have a very special spot in their heart. All right, the Marlins hope to make their home field a winning field here tonight in Game 2 of this series after a tough one last night. Time to tuck that one away, though. Put it to bed. Turn our attention to Game 2. We'll do that next, right here.
Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer today for great deals on an amazing lineup of Toyota vehicles. Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Papa John's. Right now at Papa John's, get any large pizza, even specialties, for only $12. Marlins Park, and a panoramic view of the ballpark. Here's the lineup for Mike Matheny's Cardinals. Rafael Furcal at short. John Jay back in the 2 spot again. Matt Holliday is in left. Carlos Beltran in right. Alan Craig's at first. Yadier Molina hit the 2-run homer to tie it in the 9th last night. Skip Schumacher's at second. Daniel Descalso is at third base, and he hits 8th. And hitting 9th is Kyle Loesch.
Carlos Zambrano making start number 15.
Well, you see the numbers overall on Carlos Zambrano. Got off to a tremendous start. His first 8 starts, he went 6 or more innings. He has struggled lately, but this is a ball club he's seen a lot over the years, pitching for the Cubs against the Cardinals, and he's pitched against them well.
Pinch a penny, first pitch. Zambrano misses outside. For call, John Jay and Matt Holliday, and it was for call who led off the 9th with a walk against Heath Bell, and that was part of the unraveling in the worst 9th inning meltdown in Marlins history. It's true, the Marlins had never in their history coughed up a 4-run lead in a 9th inning.
That's actually pretty amazing.
They had done it in the 10th inning in a ball game once, but never in the 9th. Up the middle, and by Reyes for call is aboard. Cousins picks it up. Cardinals in business. Here comes John Jay. And here comes the Marlins defense.
And the defense brought to you by Cleveland Clinic with Logan Morrison, Cousins, and Stanton in the outfield. Infield, look around, it's the same. Greg Dobbs making his 3rd start in a row, and John Buck, who's swung a nice bat lately behind the plate.
Zambrano, quick to the plate, and he throws a strike. A look at Jay, the Miami Hurricane. Hurt his shoulder running into a wall earlier this season, time on the disabled list, but back in center field where he spent virtually the entire season last year. And he takes outside. And for the young players like Jay, Alan Craig, Daniel Descalso, to start this season as world champions has to be not only a real thrill, but a big boost of confidence. Not only do you belong in the big leagues, but you're the world champions. Jay fights that one off. Morrison tracking it, and it's out of everybody's reach in the 2nd row.
Rich, last night we talked about Ricky Nolasco, his velocity, the crispness he had in his pitches was a good sign. Carlos Zambrano right now doesn't look like he's loose yet because he hasn't gotten up to 90 miles an hour. When he's 90, 91, even upper 90s, he's at his best, but he's been around 85 to 88 with his fastball so far.
And Jay,
that was a good changeup,
goes around. Zambrano gets a strikeout. Decidedly better stuff his last time out against Boston. Here's a look at that last strikeout.
Yeah, that had some nice movement to it to get Jay to chase it. Yeah, last time out gave up 5 hits and 3 runs in 5 innings at Fenway Park.
Matt Holliday, he was 3 for 5 in the ball game last night. Holliday had a double in that 9th inning. Also was hit by a pitch in the 10th. The Cardinals getting 2 runs in the 10th and won the ball game by 1. Zambrano throws a strike. And it's 0-1. Holliday, of course, his running mate Albert Pujols no longer behind him in the lineup, around him in the lineup. But the guy behind him is having quite a year, Carlos Beltran. And he's on deck. Little tapper. Zambrano fires it, and there's nobody there. It's into center field. On his way to 3rd base is for call. Reyes coming over to cover, and Zambrano may have been a little quick on the trigger, or there may have been a little confusion as to who was supposed to get there at what time.
It's predetermined, it's supposed to be, as to who's covering second base. I think Zambrano may have been a little quick on the trigger, but we'll see. The throw looked like it went right over the bag, and it did. It was on the second base side. Looked like Reyes was there. It looked like Reyes was the one covering. And the throw just wasn't there.
And so the Marlins night opens just like it ended last night, which was a real mess in the 9th and the 10th inning. And here is Beltran. It's going to be an error on Zambrano in what could have been an inning-ending double play ball.
Yeah, very well could have been. Holiday has average speed. He's a good runner, but just average speed. And Zambrano got that ball quickly. If he makes a good throw, you're looking at a 1-6-3 double play.
Now Zambrano's looking at first and third with a red-hot Beltran up there. And the pitch dips low. Now, Tommy talked about all the matchups that Zambrano has had against this St. Louis team. Of course, his career as a Cub, he was 125 and 81. 12-6, 28 starts, 3 relief appearances against St. Louis. And Beltran as a Met has seen him a lot, but not hit him a lot. 3 for 21 in his career against Zambrano. Counts 3-1. Holiday not a big lead. Off-speed pitch popped up, and over for it is Dobbs to the rail, reaches, and he can't get there. Boy, by just a couple of feet, that would have been an enormous out for Zambrano to get.
How many times, Rich, have we talked about this year, especially over this month? The key play early in the game that can either be a positive or a negative. Sometimes you get that key base hit early on that sets the tone. Sometimes you make that error that sets the tone. You hope that the error by Zambrano doesn't set the tone for this game.
Of course, that one of the most disappointing things about last night for Ozzie Guillen's bunch is they set the tone early and played well early. A 6-1 lead. In fact, they put 8 solid innings in the books until they got to the top of the 9th. Counts 3-2. Up the middle, into center field. It's a base hit. And now the error really stings.
The other dilemma that Ozzie Guillen is facing, it's a fastball up, and you make that mistake to a hot hitter. 5-game streak now for Beltran. He's 8 for his last 19. The other dilemma that Ozzie has is, what does he do if Carlos Zambrano doesn't go beyond 3 innings with the state of his bullpen?
It's a fair point because Zambrano's last 3 starts have been short starts. Alan Craig at the plate. His previous 2 starts going into the last start against Boston, he lasted a total of 4 1/3 innings combined in those 2 starts. 0-1. And he went around. Counts 0-2. And of course, against Boston, as we documented, 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs.
By the way, that RBI by Beltran just extends his lead in the National League in that department. 58 RBIs to lead the league.
You said it last night. He's having an MVP type season. Bouncer wide of third.
And I think quietly he's having an MVP type season. You haven't heard a lot of talk about Beltran as an MVP, but he certainly has been a key part of their lineup without question.
There's been a lot more talk about the guy he replaced and the struggles that Pujols had early, and now the tempo has picked up and the production that Pujols has had lately. Beltran just likes hitting in the state of Missouri. He was a really good Kansas City Royal.
Really good with Kansas City.
Here's the 0-2. It's up and it's in. Yeah, Beltran's tied with Ryan Braun for home runs. You just pointed out his 58 RBI leads the National League. His on-base percentage is well over 400 now.
Of course, he's going to be in competition with guys like Joey Votto, David Wright, who leads the league in hitting.
One-two pitch. No swing. Mike Malinsky's at first base. Dan Bellino's calling balls and strikes. Jerry Lane at second. And Bob Davidson, who was the focus of a lot of attention last night.
That was a pretty good pitch.
That's one of those pitches where if it's a check swing and a borderline call, oftentimes the umpire will ask for the swing rather than call the pitch a strike. 2-2. Hit hard and through Reyes into left field. Another run will score. That ball was smoked. But the Marlins certainly have not helped themselves so far tonight. E6.
You're right. This ball was smoked. If it's picked, it's a double play because it was hit so hard. But gets Reyes on his heels. He can't pick it. Another run scores, and the inning continues. Remember, the Marlins made errors last night, 3 errors last night.
And exactly the scenario that you painted is what Ozzie Guillen didn't want to have happen, and that's Zambrano already at 22 pitches in the first inning with a bullpen that is depleted, a bullpen that can use a break, and a bullpen that has not been sharp as of late.
That ball, by the way, that Craig hit took such a hard, nasty hop. It caught Reyes on his throwing hand. It didn't get him in the glove. It caught him on that right hand.
So it's 2-0 St. Louis. And here is Molina, and Zambrano misses outside.
One of the numbers we threw out there last night, unfortunately, when Molina was up there, was his number with runners in scoring position this year. Second in the major leagues, 393.
There's still only 1 out. The Marlins have made 2 errors. The Cardinals have 2 hits and 2 runs.
I'll tell you who leads the major leagues. A guy I think we can throw in there as an MVP candidate, too. Andrew McCutchen.
Absolutely.
The Pittsburgh Pirates.
Absolutely.
Look at that. 400 with runners in scoring position for McCutchen.
Look at Willie Bloomquist on that list.
Does he think he's been hitting Burley?
Burley, yeah. There's a strike from Zambrano. And the count is 2-1. You know, talking about the bullpen, the guy who has been used the most lately and would be the guy you would turn to if things get any more sideways than they do is Chad Gaudin. And I don't know that he's available tonight. Gaudin, an inning last night, 2 innings on Sunday.
I think we had the number when he came into the game last night. He'd thrown 94 pitches over the last 6 days.
Zambrano has not helped himself. It was his throwing error that opened the door for the Cardinals in this inning. The 2-2. Fouled at the plate. He had a comebacker, and by major league standards, a pretty routine double play.
Right now, a huge pick-me-up for the Marlins, for Zambrano, would be a nice double play ball.
Crack staff has run the numbers, Tommy. 120 pitches for Gaudin in the last 7 days.
Wow.
2-2.
Not to mention the number of times he's warmed up and gotten ready to come in and pitch.
Normally we wait till the second inning to throw out the first email, but the way this first inning is progressing. Full count, 1 out. Beltran's at second. Alan Craig's at first. Let's see if Mike Matheny gets aggressive and starts the runners. Not running. And that one's driven. Left field, deep, and gone. Yadier Molina has done it again. The 2-run shot to tie the game in the big comeback last night. And his first at bat tonight is a 3-run bomb.
Break out the email bag, would you?
Yikes. This inning has gone from bad to worse. In a hurry, a Clevelander home run.
Well, and he just ups that average with runners in scoring position. Another home run, his 12th of the season.
Five nothing. Skip Schumacher takes a strike. And Zambrano has thrown 31 pitches. Pitch misses in.
There's just kind of a quiet shock feeling around the ballpark.
Absolutely, especially coming off of last night. Three-two pitch. That one's crushed. Deep. Cousins looking up, and it bounces off the wall. Schumacher racing for second, and he's got a double. And where do you turn if you're Ozzie Guillen right now?
It was something we mentioned after the first couple of hitters. When you looked at Zambrano, you didn't see a guy who was sharp and crisp with good velocity. You saw a guy who didn't look like he was loose. His fastball was in the mid-80s. And for him to be successful and to have success here, he has to throw a little harder than that. And he's paying the price now.
And of course, all of this could have been avoided had the Marlins been able to turn the double play on the comeback. A 1-6-3 double play is easy to write in the books. And Zambrano's throw sailed. It was on the first base side of second. Reyes couldn't get there. And instead of the Marlins coming up in a scoreless game, it's 5-0. That is a big swing. Daniel Descalso is up. Descalso lifts a soft fly ball. Morrison comes charging in, reaches up, and he makes the catch. The runner on his way home, Schumacher, and that's going to be a double play. Not sure if Schumacher thought it was going to fall or if he just forgot how many outs there were. As it is, the Cardinals put a 5 spot on the board in the first. Nothing ball game. The Marlins trailing the Cardinals. Randy St. Clair and Carlos Zambrano just went down that tunnel. I'm sure the topic of discussion is 5-0 St. Louis. Marlins come to the plate with this lineup. Jose Reyes, Hanley Ramirez, Giancarlo Stanton, Logan Morrison, Greg Dobbs, Omar Infante, Scott Cousins, John Buck, Zambrano hits ninth, and the Marlins are facing the Cardinals' best starter in terms of pure numbers, with Chris Carpenter hurt and Adam Wainwright under 500. Loesch has been the leader in this rotation. And Reyes takes a fastball for a strike.
No, he's a guy who mixes it up well. He led their staff in wins last year. Had 14 wins.
Reyes takes down low. The count is 1-1. Reyes, Hanley Ramirez, and Giancarlo Stanton. Little pop-up, racing for it, and dropping it is Descalso. Guy that was a Gold Glove finalist last year at third base.
Well, he got there. Looked like he was going to make the catch. That could be an error. I mean, if you give Omar Infante an error on that ball last night, they had a bare hand to play. That could be an error there.
Reyes hits a changeup in the air to center field. John Jay is there, and he makes the catch. St. Louis defensively.
There's Matt Holliday, John Jay, and Beltran in the outfield. Brought to you by Cleveland Clinic. Descalso for call. Schumacher starting tonight. Alan Craig. And you know about that guy, Yadier Molina. Yadier Molina, also a Gold Glover. 4 straight years he's won the Gold Glove.
And if you're Loesch and you've got a 5-0 lead on the board, you can just attack the strike zone. Not that he doesn't do that regularly. Loesch in 15 starts has walked a grand total of 15 hitters. So he is a strike thrower. And I think one of those guys, Tommy, that owes a lot to Dave Duncan. He's a career 500 pitcher. As a Cardinal, though, 11 games over, 45-34.
Yeah, he's had a nice run with the Cardinals. This is his 5th year with St. Louis. You know, that opening night when he became the first pitcher to win a game at Marlins Park, he went 7 1/3, gave up just 2 hits and 1 run.
Took a no-hitter into the 7th inning. One-two pitch. And it's in. It's 2-2. All right, you ready for the first email?
Please. I was ready for it last inning.
Aptly named Mercy from Pembroke Pines. Where is the artist formerly known as Leo Nunez? Here's the 2-2. Hanley drives that ball right center field. Beltran glides over and makes the catch. Juan Carlos Oviedo is with the Marlins up in Jupiter and is training, getting ready. He will have roughly a 2-week window in which he can go out, and there's how you can get to us by email, foxsportsflorida.com, click on Game Connect, and then ask the broadcast, foxsportsflorida.com, Game Connect, ask the broadcast. Here is Stanton. Near the end of July, I want to say it's the 24th of July, he's eligible to rejoin the Marlins at the big league level. And he can take a 2-week minor league assignment where he can actually pitch in minor league games before that date, before his suspension ends.
Right now, Giancarlo needs to get himself back on track. He's been jumping a lot of pitches. When you do that, the head moves. You don't pick up the ball as well. And we've seen him have some at-bats that just have not looked like he's had an idea at the plate. So he needs to get back in that groove he was in May.
You see the last 10 games. He takes the breaking ball outside, and it's 3-1. Loesch out of Chico, California. Here's his 3-1. Stanton hits a blast to center field. That's deep. Jay goes back. He looks up, and it's gone.
That'll get you back on track.
Giancarlo Stanton with home run number 17.
He has such monster power that it doesn't matter what part of the ballpark he goes to, and he can stay back because he can hit a ball out to center field. And that's just a nice swing, and that's great to see.
So it's 5-1. Morrison is up. Kelly from Jupiter this question. With Lomo's ongoing struggles, why not put him in the 2-hole?
That's something that you and I have talked about. I talked to Cookie Rojas about that. I think there may have been a thought to that prior to Ozzie putting Hanley in the number 2 spot. But I think it is something to think about.
Morrison takes a 2-0 pitch for a strike, and it's 2-1. Cardinals are not shifting defensively, as we've seen many teams do in the last month and a half against Morrison, or Dobbs for that matter. Fly ball left, Holiday in, and he makes the catch. Marlins get a home run from Giancarlo Stanton, but trail in this one. St. Louis off to an early start. 5-1 Cardinals. .5-1 Cardinals, Coventry Healthcare, second inning. Let's check in with our social media Contessa, Allison Williams. A-Dub.
Hey, Rich. Good to be with you guys here on this Email Twitter Tuesday. Obviously, a tough stretch here in the month of June for the Marlins. And baseball players, very superstitious. They will do some different things to bust out of slumps. So we want to know what you guys think they should do. Mike says, heck, let's move back to Sun Life Stadium. While Epic Beard 85 says, have Giancarlo change his name back to Mike Reyes, grow his dreadlocks back. Fly Daddy says yoga sessions led by Gary Busey. Not sure what that's all about, but it's a unique, original idea. We need you guys to get creative because it certainly has been tough for the Marlins. And 5-Tool Baseball says to give the rally bird a proper burial and bury this month of June as well. The rally bird, you'll remember, saw its life come to an end out in right field during one of the Marlins games. So some creative ideas. Baseball players, of course, very superstitious. There have been some odd things done by players to end slumps. Remember the Giants, Aubrey Hoff, the red rally thong that he brought in, and that, of course, ended with the Giants winning the World Series in 2010. Also, Jason Giambi, known for that gold thong he would wear whenever he was struggling, also shared it with teammates. So the Marlins need something. We want your suggestions. Tweet them to us and use the hashtag Stop the Slump. We want to hear your guys' suggestions. We'll check back in and read some other ones later. Guys.
All right, Allison, thank you. The discussion has turned to thongs. That's what happens when it's a 5-1 game already.
Well, got a tweet from Brett, and he said, "Bring back the praying mantis."
The Mickey Mantis.
I'm sure we had that shot of Randy St. Clair and Ozzie going into the tunnel of the dugout talking with Zambrano. Your one thought was, well, is there something wrong? But now that he's back out there, your second thought is both of them may have said, hey, look it, we need you out here. We need you to go 5 or 6 innings.
Reyes makes the catch. Zambrano has 2 quick outs here in the second. Season tickets for the inaugural season of Marlins Park available, and you can secure your seats through a variety of ticket mini plan options and save money off the box office prices. Enjoy all the benefits of being a Marlins season ticket holder. Pick up your plan today. 1-877-MARLINS. John Jay dumps a hit into left field. And St. Louis has a 2-out single after a 5-run first. And if you weren't with us in the first, a runner at first and 1 out. Zambrano got a comebacker and then threw the ball into center field. And it was on for the Cardinals, including a 3-run homer by Yadier Molina.
Boy, Rich, if you condense the last 5 innings from last night to tonight, the Cardinals have scored 13 runs and the Marlins have made 5 errors
in
that 5-inning period.
Wow. You got Jay at first, Zambrano the 0-1. Holiday did not go. Ball and a strike. Zambrano misses away. Well, going back to the first email, it's you thought a month and a half ago, if Juan Carlos Oviedo joins the team, maybe that might happen. Now, the way things have gone here in the last couple of weeks with the bullpen, if he can pitch well, he would be a nice addition to the bullpen. And he would be an alternative if Heath Bell continues to struggle at the back end. One of the things about last night, Tommy, and it happened a couple times in the Marlins' excellent month of May. Bell had a 4-run lead and was obviously scuffling. Ozzie Guillen didn't have anybody to go out and rescue him with. Remember a couple of times he used Randy Choate or Steve Cishek, Edward Mujica to come in when Bell was wobbling with a 3-run lead. And the Marlins won those games. He didn't have those guys because they had already pitched last night. Because there's no doubt that he would have come and gotten him.
The way Ozzie mapped it out last night, it looked pretty good. To bring Bell in, he hasn't pitched a whole lot over the last week or 10 days. It was a 4-run game. It wasn't a safe situation, but bring him in. The times he came in, when there wasn't a save situation, he'd been throwing the ball extremely well. And he'd been picking up saves, too.
Dobbs has the Beltran bouncer and steps on the bag. So Zambrano, a scoreless second in a 5-1 game.
Béisbol en Español es presentado en SAP por Coventry Healthcare of Florida.
Cardinals have jumped out on top in this one, a 5-1 lead going to the bottom of the second inning. Greg Dobbs, Omar Infante, and Scott Cousins against Kyle Loesch. Email and a Twitter Tuesday. Anais tweets, and she is quoting Johnny Bench. As we've asked you, how are the Marlins going to stop this slide? The quote is, slumps are like a soft bed, easy to get into, hard to get out of.
So true, so true.
Dobbs has been very consistent this year. He really hasn't had a protracted slump at the plate. Had an RBI hit last night. Loesch misses outside.
Yeah, Greg Dobbs, 4 hits, his last 9 at bats over the last 2 games. Got a good one from Ramon on breaking the slump. Ramon tweets, get in a DeLorean equipped with a flux capacitor. Floor it until it reaches 88 miles per hour and take it back to May 2012.
If only it were that easy.
Yeah.
Here's the 1-2. Loesch with a changeup. Dobbs fights it off. And the count is 1-2 still. At FS Marlins is the Twitter handle. Hashtag stop the slump. Right now the Marlins can't stop the Cardinals. 1-2. Dobbs waited on that changeup, punches it down the right field line. Beltran over to get it. And Greg Dobbs has a leadoff single here in the second.
Well, one thing Ozzie has said a number of times, the players help him make up the lineup. But here we're going to scout Kyle Loesch, brought to you by Coventry Healthcare. Good life on that fastball. Lots of fastballs and sliders. He'll throw that changeup, works in and out of the strike zone, and has very good control. He's an excellent fielder. Last time he made an error was in May of 2010.
The problem he's got is he pitches in the National League now, and though he might be close to getting a Gold Glove, Mark Burley's in the National League after dominating that Gold Glove award and the Fielding Bible Award in the American League. Clayton Kershaw was the Gold Glove winner as a pitcher last year, and he does have a Gold Glove catcher, and Molina's got the bling on his chest protector to show it. Rawlings will, to Gold Glove winners, issue those Gold Glove emblems for both catcher's gear and for gloves as well.
So Molina with a lot of bling. New World Series ring, new contract, new chest protector.
I like the new World Series rings that
very
the
nice.
Cardinals
Yeah.
have. The Rally Squirrel has a spot on those World Series rings. Infante pulls a ground ball wide of third, and the count's 2-1.
One of the things, and it's a lot easier to say when you're streaking well and you're on a good stretch of playing baseball, but when you're on the stretch the Marlins are on, this is even tougher. But you tell yourself after the 5 runs in the top of the first, there's still plenty of time. Plenty of time to bat. They got 1 back on Stanton's home run. The problem is you're hoping Zambrano or the pitching staff shuts down the offense.
To center, Jay back, and he reaches up and makes the catch at the track. Boy, Infante hit that a long ways. One out. Here comes Scott Cousins.
See, Stanton can go out to that area. Infante can't. He has to pull the ball, but he hit that extremely well.
Scott Cousins. And it's 0-1. Variety of tweets on how to stop the slump. A lot of references to bringing Joe Boo in from the movie Major Leagues. Cousins swings and misses. And it's 0-2. Guidesi says to stop the slump, get rid of Rich and Tommy.
I'm not sure if I'm willing to make that sacrifice quite yet.
Not like Joe Boo and the chicken. Off-speed pitch from Loesch, and Cousins was well out in front. 2 outs here in the second. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Miami Marlins. John Buck had a productive night last night. A couple hits, a couple walks. He scored 3 runs.
Rich, just to get away from how to get rid of a slump, David tweeted that he's been to the ballpark a number of times and wanted to know where the personalized pavers are located. David, we understand that on the East Plaza, the other side of the Clevelander, out in that area, you'll see some of those personalized pavers.
It's out by the Orange Bowl letters.
Yeah.
Senor Jiggy Fly. Nice tweets. Tommy, what would you do to the lineup for the Marlins if you could have an extreme makeover to the Marlins lineup? Fly ball right, and it's Beltran, a long run, and he gets there and makes the catch.
Get back to me on that one.
I will. Think about that. You've got 2 minutes to come up with an answer. Intervening.
All right, Rich, thank you very much. You may have seen right at the top of the show tonight, we showed the anthem singer, Kathy Versace, finishing. Cassie finished the anthem, and then Juan came through when...
I tried to come through. I was nervous. So I tried to hold my own, but luckily it worked out.
Then we could show the footage of the proposal. How much of a surprise was it?
It was definitely a surprise. I was surprised that he could surprise me because he never surprises me. So he did good. He did a really great job. I'm proud.
You picked a great moment because you're just finishing the anthem. Nice response from the crowd. He comes out, you figure he's just going to thank you, I guess.
Yeah, I was confused when I saw him walking out. I'm like, why are you coming out here?
I believe that the direct quote was, "What are you doing?"
What are you doing? And then he just like relaxed, and then I saw his hand behind his back, and I was like, oh, yay.
Now here's the other part of the story. Tell everybody, Marlin fans, where you guys met and when.
Well, we met July 18th, 2009 at the Marlins groundbreaking. So we knew, well, I especially knew that if I am going to give her a proposal, it has to be at the new ballpark, just to top it all off.
Just had to wait a few years.
I just had to wait a couple of years. I had to make sure the doors were open here, but it worked out.
Well, congratulations. I know the Marlins and Marlins Park in particular will always be very special for you too.
Yes, it definitely will. We laugh and we like to joke around that we owe the Marlins our relationship, so it was just very special that it was here today. So.
She actually found out the Marlins do weddings here now, so she's going to start planning that.
Oh boy, all right. Well, maybe it'll be the first wedding at Marlins Park.
Maybe.
You guys did a great job on the anthem, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, Cassie and Juan will be getting married. Do we have a date?
We're looking at fall next year.
All right, fall next year. Make your plans. She just found out the date right now. Back to you guys.
That was well orchestrated after the anthem. And a nice moment. Roller up the middle. Infante has it crawl up his arm. There's no way he was going to get Alan Craig anyways. So a base hit.
That's always one that fans see in the way the Marlins have played lately. They start booing. If he catches that as clean as can be, he's still not going to throw out Alan Craig.
The question as we went to break from a fan, Tommy, if you could make out a lineup for tonight's game.
I did that real fast, by the way.
He did. It didn't take the full 2 minutes. It took about 30 seconds. Here's Molina now. 3-run homer for Molina, and he lines one to center field. Cousins is there, and he makes the catch. Tommy's lineup looks this way. Greg Dobbs in the leadoff spot. Explain yourself.
On base guy. He's going to give you good at bats. He's going to see a lot of pitches early on.
Logan Morrison in the 2 spot.
Might see some fastballs.
Infante hitting third.
He's swinging the bat well now.
Your cleanup hitter will stun a lot of people. Jose Reyes.
Yeah, I just had to mix it around. Just had to find him someplace.
Giancarlo Stanton hitting 5th.
Give some speed in front of Stanton.
Hanley behind.
A little protection behind Stanton.
John Buck in the 7 spot.
And then the twist in tonight's lineup. But this might not be every night, but I got Zambrano hitting 8th and Cousins hitting 9th. Zambrano's 2 for 4 against Loesch with 2 home runs.
And the way the first inning was going, it didn't look like Zambrano would be around to get an at bat or 2 against Loesch, but here he is in the 3rd, and it's 5-1. He misses outside to Skip Schumacher, who doubled back in the first inning.
And we've had a few tweets and suggestions. We see it every once in a while. Might be a good idea for everybody to hike the pant legs up. You know, show a lot of the dark socks.
Three 3-0 to Schumacher. Of course, it might be better if pitchers threw strikes, guys played catch. that would help too.
Well, you have Zambrano at 61 pitches already, and he's not even through the 3rd inning.
TM says to stop the slump, sacrifice Lil Jose. Wow, that's cold, but you never know. If that's what it takes, I'm willing to. I don't know if I'd do it, but I'd break the news to him. It'd wipe the little smile off his face. Lil Jose, of course, has his own Twitter handle. I don't know that would help much. Zambrano, nice comeback. He had fallen behind Schumacher, and he comes back and strikes him out.
Jake wants everybody to take a dip in the Clevelander pool before every game. Who knows? You know, I'm a little upset at, we get the tweets. You look at the emails, I'll read the tweets. I'm a little upset at Ramon. I mean, we gave him some props. We read his tweet on the DeLorean. And he's the guy who wanted to get rid of you and me. So that's I'm not reading any more Ramon stuff, all right?
You can block him.
But I don't know how to do that.
We don't block anybody. Daniel Descalso's up. So he wanted to get rid of us before we read his tweet or after he read his tweet?
After. No, this is after.
Michael tweets, give Steve Bartman season tickets. Well, the Marlins have tried just about everything to get rolling here in the month of June. That one line foul. And it looked like they had made a nice step forward with the win on Sunday and the big lead going into the ninth last night.
You know, the interesting thing, when you look at the whole picture, and I'm starting this on a 3-2 pitch with 2 out. I'm going to kill myself here, but the Marlins have done things. They took Heath Bell out of the closer role early to get himself back together. They sent Gabby Sanchez to the minor leagues. They sent Chris Coghlan down. They have tried to put pieces together and put the puzzle together, but so far to this point, it hasn't worked.
Mike Dunn has come up and down. Brian Peterson has come up and down. And Zambrano now with 2 outs. As Kyle Loesch up there.
When here comes pitch number 70. And we made the point in the first inning. Zambrano just doesn't look right. That's about as hard as he's thrown, 88 miles an hour.
37 pitches in that first inning. One. And it misses away. And it's 2-1. You saw the shot of the bullpen. And there were some smiles down there, guys chit-chatting. But I think there's got to be a sense of uneasiness because everybody realizes what's happening right now. And somebody down there is going to have to suck up some innings at some point tonight. Loesch lines out. 5-1 St. Louis. To sacrifice Lil Jose. There he is in the production truck helping the crack staff, choosing camera shots. pumping up the crew. This losing streak has been tough on everybody involved. And he's even tweeting. He's got his little buddy, Lil G, there with him. Go to the Marlins page, foxsportsflorida.com, click on Game Connect, and then ask the broadcast. We're doing some Twitter at FS Marlins, hashtag Stop the Slump. Allison Williams, how are you tonight?
Very good. I am actually out here in the social media suite, and it is hopping. I've got a couple of very avid Marlins tweeters. This is James at Fake Marlins Fan is his Twitter handle, and Raphael at Lomo Dimples. Both very funny accounts, guys. I have to say, a lot of sense of humor, a lot of Marlins support. James, I got a little bit of a bone to pick with you, though, because you kind of mess with me on Twitter a little bit.
I just like you. You're awesome. You're fun. You're the best thing with the I mean, I got to say, you are no Craig Minervini.
I try, though.
But you're pretty good. You're pretty good.
You try to call me out now and then for never tweeting with you.
You never respond to me. What do you expect? Frank Fort, me and him, we're like this. I never get anything from you.
All right, well, I'll try to be better in my correspondence. And before I leave you, though, you are a real Marlins fan. It's at Fake Marlins Fans, but you are a real Marlins fan, right? I mean, you look real.
My first team is the Yankees, obviously, like every other Marlins fan. But, yeah, the Marlins are a good team. The Marlins are good. I'm rooting for them.
All right, you better be, James. And Raphael here at Lomo Dimples. First of all, explain what that Twitter handle is and how it came about.
Lomo Dimples is actually created by Logan Morrison. He tweeted one day last year that he had a pet silverback gorilla named Dimples. He put it down on a condo application, and I decided that Dimples deserved a life of his own. So I created it.
A lot of inanimate objects seem to get lives on Twitter. Little Jose is one of them. And you like him, right?
Little Jose is so much fun, and I love seeing him run around the place. Although I've noticed that his legs don't move on their own, and I'm a little worried about that.
No comment about that. James, before we let you guys go, what do you think of the social media suite here?
I love it. I love it. Free food, free beer, you can't go wrong.
It's a pretty good time. You guys aren't having any fun at all, right?
No. This has been excruciating. And well, no, we do. We love the roof. We love the stadium. We love everything about this place. I'd like a different score, but, you know, we'll change that in the innings to come.
Along that line, Stop the Slump is the theme tonight. Hashtag on your tweets, Stop the Slump. What's your suggestion to stop the slump?
Ask again?
What's your suggestion they do to stop the slump?
I would say Spam and Jungle Love would stop the slump. And you know, the Morris Day song, By the Time. Right. You know, it's you know.
I'll let you do that. Your suggestion for Stop the Slump. Hashtag, use it on Twitter, Stop the Slump.
I'm willing to take one for the team and be John Buck Slump Buster.
All right, they're getting creative up here. We will leave it at that. Guys, back to you.
I think that was a good one for Allison to end on. She throws it back to us after that.
Hashtag speechless. Here's the 0-1 to Hanley Ramirez. It's a fastball for a strike. Kyle Loesch spotted to a 5-0 lead. Gave up a Giancarlo Stanton home run to straightaway center field, and that's it. Hanley flied to right back in the first. By the way, the guy that you called out for saying get rid of Rich and Tommy.
What did I do now?
Well, the cardinal rule is when you're reading tweets, you read the entire tweet.
I kind of skimmed it real fast.
You stopped at get rid of Rich and Tommy. There's a question mark, and then after that it says, are you kidding? Your sense of humor makes the pain of this streak a bit more bearable.
Oh, man, I called out Ramon.
He was giving you a compliment.
He was.
And you hammered the guy.
I apologize, Ramon. I didn't see the question mark.
Hanley busts his bat for call, gathers it in, and Loesch with a 9-pitch inning. Zambrano right back out there in the fourth on an email and Twitter Tuesday. St. Louis on top. A look from high above down into the Clevelander. Tico, as Tommy and I know, it's the people's gas. And the Nationals continue to lead the National League East. The Phillies and the Marlins 8 back. Atlanta and the Mets 3.5 back. It's a great shot from way up there. Which one of the crack staff climbed all the way up there and
I
strapped
believe
it down?
that would have been Mike Fernandez. Took the venture up there.
Daredevil Mike Fernandez.
Without a net, I might add.
Never a good sign when Rafael Furcal is up for the 3rd time already. That's where that camera is. It's at the very top of the scoreboard platform in deepest, darkest center field.
See if Giancarlo can hit one up in that area.
Furcal fouls it back. Kristen emails to stop the slump, bring back the song Everybody's Doing the Fish. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's one of Joe Rose's favorites.
That is, because every time I hear it, all I can think of is Joe Rose dancing around the studio. If you've ever seen Joe Rose dance, it's not pretty.
You know, we talked about it too with Zambrano and a couple of other starters. They've really struggled at home. Carlos Zambrano entering this game just 1 win at home and an ERA over 6.
Zambrano strikes out for call. So an out. AT&T trivia time. Let's flip the phone, see what we got. Who holds the St. Louis Cardinal record for career hits in World Series play? And that's career hits in World Series play. You know, we talked about David Freese in the postseason that he had.
He had a bunch.
25 postseason hits. Now, that wasn't an answer. We're just discussing. Breaking ball is a strike. All right, think about Cardinal World Series teams. Cardinals were involved in a couple of World Series in the mid-'80s, right? Flipped to first in time.
I think I mentioned this name last night. That was the Tommy Kerr.
Willie McGee. How about Albert Pujols?
How about, let's go back a little further. How about Lou Brock?
Oh, very nice, Hut. That one slashed to
very nice
Infante's left. And he makes the stop. A much needed brief inning for Zambrano. 5-1 St. Louis. to you by 5-Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy fixes tired fast. By Coventry Healthcare of Florida, lighting the way to better health. And by the Florida Department of Transportation. Drive sober or get pulled over. Downtown Miami tonight, Giancarlo Stanton against Kyle Loesch. The first time they met tonight resulted in about a 425-foot homer to center field. But Loesch is pitching with a big lead, and he was pitching to the big part of the ballpark. 0-2. That one is in the dirt. Now, the numbers have come in. I said 425, but they're calling that home run 454.
We're not going to argue on that one.
Drives it down the right field line. That's a base hit. A laser beam into the corner, and Stanton pulls in with a double. $19 doubles now for Stanton, who has homered and doubled.
Boy, it's so nice when you see him get locked in and hit the home run to center, hit a double down the right field line. Halfway to the cycle, home run and a double.
Marlins, of course, have never had a cycle.
That could bust the slump right there. Somebody hitting for the cycle.
That's a great point. Morrison 0 for 1 in this one. 0 for 5 in this series. Pulls a ground ball to the right side. Schumacher throws him out. And so Stanton now resides at third base. The answer to the AT&T trivia question: Cardinal record for career hits in World Series play. Tommy got it with Lou Brock. 34 hits, 21 games, 3 World Series. Freese had 25 hits in the entire postseason last year. Here is Dobbs. So it's a 5-1 game. The Marlins get a leadoff double. Morrison does move the runner over, and let's see if Dobbs can get him in. The infield is deep. And Dobbs hits a fly ball out to right center. Jay is there, makes the catch. Tagging is Stanton, coming home, and he scores. And Greg Dobbs delivers. He was looking for a ball he could hit in the air. He got it and delivers the run.
You know, it was a little thing, the ground ball that Lomo hit to move Stanton over to third, but you never know. You're 3 runs down right now. The Marlins scored 4 last night in the 7th inning.
Tomorrow night is the Wednesday night showdown. Marlins and Cardinals. Sponsored by Kendall Toyota and West Kendall Toyota. Can we show this?
Got the sound effects.
Can we show this on camera? We get cards to read during the course of a telecast. Look at it. That's the showdown. The crack staff just trying to be creative. And that's, I guess, the sound effects that you heard in the background as well. Infante, he's behind the count 0-2. He had a 400-foot fly ball for an out. That was back in the 2nd inning. Count was 1-1 on that breaking ball. Here is the 1-2. And Loesch buries it down low. Pulls a ground ball. Descalso across the diamond in time. And the inning is over. Marlins get another run. Still trail it 5-2. Foolproof stats. Yadier Molina, 5 of his 11 homers have tied the game or given the Cardinals the lead. This is the Cardinals have counted on Molina. You can count on Just for Men Auto Stop for foolproof results. You always wondered what Santa does with his summers. He roots for the Cardinals and lives in Florida. Carlos Beltran, Alan Craig, Yadier Molina. And Zambrano zips in a fastball for a strike.
You were talking about Beltran picking up the slack with Albert Pujols with the Angels. Pujols with a couple of hits tonight in Baltimore. One of those a home run. So slowly Pujols up to 263 with 12 home runs.
Corona Light wants you to find your beach this summer. Marlins and Corona Light offering 6 lucky Marlin fans the chance to win 4 tickets and a Fiesta suite for an upcoming game at Marlins Park. Go to your local participating retailer, look for the Corona Light display for details on how to enter and win. Relax responsibly. Here comes Alan Craig. Now, we've had a slew of emails and tweets as well that have said, if you want to stop the slump, replace the closer, send Lomo down, fire this guy, cut this guy, and it's a different time and age in baseball where you can just make sweeping changes like that.
Well, and also if you had replacements. Okay, send Lomo down. Who comes back up? See, that we need answers to the tweets. Chris Coughlin, he just got sent down. Brian Peterson's on the disabled list right now. So, you know, the question is, it's easy to say do this, do that, but what's the replacement?
Zambrano at 87 pitches, but he has an out here in the 5th inning, and now he has a couple, and I think it's a lot further than you thought he'd get, having watched that 37 pitch 1st inning.
He has battled out there and done what his pitching coach and what his manager wanted him and needed him to do.
Zambrano misses away. Other ideas for stop the slump. True wants you to bring back the sweater vest. Have you rocked the sweater vest this year much at all?
Early on, when we were in some colder weather, I think in San Francisco I had it out there. We're kind of done with the sweater vest now until we hook up with some cold weather again.
High pop-up. Everyone's converging. Infante's calling. And he makes the catch.
Don't think it'll be needed in St. Louis.
7 in a row set down by Zambrano. He's hanging in there. It's 5-2 St. Louis.
Español es presentado en SAP por Toyota.
A little bit of camera 12 there for the kids at home. All right, let's join Cookie and Raul, the kids over next door. And all night, guys, fans have been tweeting and emailing ideas to break the slump. Cookie, did you have a manager that went nuts or did anything wild to get you guys out of a slide in your long major league career?
Well, I remember Gene Mock when we had a 6.5 game lead in Philadelphia with 12 games to go. And we're going to Houston, and we win the first 3 games in the 4-game series. And then he bring Gene Bunning back on the 4th game, and we lost that game, and that started the 10-game losing streak. So we went right into the dugout, and they have a great spread in Houston in those years, and I think Tom would remember that. Mm-hmm. And he came in and kicked that table. That we had ribs in my shoes and chickens in everybody's clothes all over the place, and that was amazing. But that didn't change anything. We kept on losing. We lost 10 in a row after that.
Yeah, that was one of the collapses last year, with the Cardinals catching the Braves for the wild card, and obviously the Red Sox collapsed. That's kind of bailed that ball club out. That's ancient history now, Cookie. People don't bring that up too much, do they?
Oh, they sure don't. Not anymore. But you have to go ahead and be positive all the time, work out your trade, and try to get out of a big slump. That's what you have to do, nothing else.
I think the only time people mention it, Rich, is us when we keep bringing it up to Cookie. Every time the wild card race gets heated.
Yeah, but you know what? My favorite Cookie Rojas story is in Kansas City when the Royals finally got to the fountain. My favorite player growing up was Freddie Patek, and just the fact that I found out that Cookie and Freddie Patek went swimming in the fountains when the Royals got to the postseason.
That is true. That's true.
I remember that much more than that Phillies collapse.
I agree with you. I think that was a great moment, when you go ahead and finally, after so many years, starting getting better and better, win the division and get back into the World Series. I said that I will jump on the fountain, and there was 35,000 people there. And Freddie came with me. We walked across the fence in left field all the way to the fountain, and people went crazy. And I think that's a lot of fun. And when that happens, you put everything that you have had for so many years. And I think that's what it takes. It takes a unity of a ball club and put everything together, the little things fundamentally, and believing in each other. And I think that's what happens to have a ball club that gets started into a good rhythm again like we did in April or May. And I think that's what we have to do. Just forget about what happened in the past. Think about the positive things that you can do and go from there. Nothing really big or nothing, just the fundamental things of the game.
Was the water cold in the fountain?
Not really. No, it wasn't too bad. So it was right like in September, so it was pretty much the good weather there in Kansas City.
You didn't feel anything. You'd already had some champagne, right?
I definitely had 2 bottles.
I told our producer John Solter before the game, for a slump buster, we should have Conine do the pregame show or the game itself dressed in Marlin uniform, full Marlin uniform, like he is in batting practice.
Maybe. It may come to that. Guys, have a good show.
All right, you too, guys.
Thanks, guys. You too.
Yeah, there's Niners.
You know, there's Niner in his broadcast suit.
See, I think Niner looks dashing in that suit.
Yeah. So I think with the All-Star game in Kansas City this year, they should do a little feature maybe on that Freddie Patek, Cookie Rojas swing.
Skip Schumacher throws out Carlos Zambrano. 5-2 Cardinals. Original South Beach location. Experience the game from field level seats, poolside bar and grill right next to the Marlins bullpen. The Clevelander also available for private events. Book your group, call 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com. No surprise, a lot of fans in Stop the Slump have suggested more Camera 12 on the show. Let's go out to Allison, and she's not on Camera 12. She's up in the Marlins social media lounge.
Yes, sorry, no Camera 12, but some good-looking people up here as well, including Suzette, who is at Suzette Cabrera. She is a nightlife blogger here enjoying the Marlins social media lounge suite today, actually. First of all, what do you think of the game, the experience the Marlins have put together for you all?
I love it. There's incredible energy here, and I mean, it's beautiful. You can't help but look at every single little detail, from the roof, you know, the new ceiling, to the home run machine. I mean, it's incredible. Everything is great. I love it.
And a good goofy group out here in the social media suite having a good time. If you want to partake in the social media experience, just use hashtag Twitter Tuesday when you tweet to us, or hashtag Stop the Slump. One of the great aspects here at Marlins Park, it's a great play there by Hanley. Suzette is the Clevelander, and that's, I'm sure, right up your alley, being a nightlife blogger. What do you think about the Clevelander here at Marlins Park?
I think it reminds you of the Clevelander on South Beach to the T. Like, it has the pool in there. They even have girls in bikinis. I mean, it's very South Beach and very Miami. You can even see the dancers from here. I mean,
usually you can hear the music too.
Yes, and the music makes you feel like you're not even in the stadium. So it's very great. I love it.
Very good experience here at the ballpark, as is the social media suite, and I'm sure the Marlins are going to do this again, so make sure you follow them at Marlins to get more information about how you can join in for the next one. Suzette, thank you.
No problem. Go fish.
Rich, Tommy.
All right, thanks, A-Dub. Logan Morrison runs down that ball, and Carlos Zambrano right now is 2 outs into the 6th inning in a ball game in which his ball club desperately needs him to get deep in the game, and he's doing it.
This is pretty incredible. In the 4th inning, Zambrano threw 9 pitches. He came back, had a 9-pitch 5th inning, and look at this, so far 4 here in this inning.
Loesch takes a fastball in. Kyle Loesch is 0 for 2. The big damage, of course, in the 1st. All 5 St. Louis runs. And very preventable. Rafael Furcal singled to open the inning after John Jay struck out. Matt Holliday hit a 1-hopper back to Zambrano, who turned to throw to second to start that double play and sailed the throw into center field. And it was on. Carlos Beltran with an RBI single. An error by Jose Reyes scored another run, and then Yadier Molina, a command performance after last night, came back out and blasted a 3-run homer. And it was 5-0 at that point. Giancarlo Stanton with a solo homer, a double by Stanton. He moved up on a Morrison ground ball and scored on a Dobbs sac fly. And that's 5-2, and that's another quick inning by Zambrano. It's a 9-pitch inning. Big Z is through 6. Email and Twitter Tuesday. A lot of emails about Bonifacio, and Craig Minervini has more.
Well, Emilio met the doctor today, and one of the things they try to do is to see what kind of movement he has with that thumb. And the big thing they keep asking about, guys keep coming up to him saying, can you go like this? Can you go like this? That thumb across to the pinky area. Now, when the doctor asked him he could do that, he actually switched thumbs on the doctor and got a big laugh because it was the wrong thumb. But good news is he is back to work, at least starting to hit and throw. That's the cast he showed me today. It is like a hard cast you would wear over a break. He'll have some extra sponge toward that thumb to keep it a little more protected, but he's going to wear that. It's modeled after Rafael Furcal's during the game when he returns. The news today was he can throw, he could start now progressing, tee, soft toss, batting practice, and then they'll evaluate whether to have some games. He's still probably looking at All-Star break, but everything is going in the right direction, just like that hit by Jose Reyes.
Reyes is in with a double. Yeah, it would be nice to get Bonifacio and his energy and his speed back in the lineup. The Marlins can't wait around for that. Reyes with double number 15 on the season. The Marlins try to get a little bit closer.
Well, it's a good spark, also knowing that Giancarlo's coming up. Hanley Ramirez now, and then Stanton with a home run and a double so far tonight.
Breaking ball misses outside. to Hanley Ramirez. Hanley has flied out, bounced out. Now, you're down 3. It's the bottom of the 6th. The Marlins in the 4th were able to, on the leadoff double by Stanton, get him over and get him in without a hit.
Yeah, I still say here, if you're Hanley, try to hit a ball that way. Try to hit it hard, maybe get a base hit. But at least, worst case scenario, you get Reyes over to third, you pick up another run, and all of a sudden it's a 2-run game.
Loesch, sensing that, is pounding it in on Hanley Ramirez, and that's where we've seen a lot of pitchers work Hanley over the last month. Try to get in on his hands.
Loesch has been an interesting subject because he's pitched a lot better on the road. ERA-wise about the same, but he's 4-1 on the road with a 2.83 ERA. Got off to a great start. Was 4-0 in April.
Knee-high fastball for a strike. So it's 3-1 now. You've got Stanton right behind him. Loesch in the bottom of the 6th. Breaking ball. That's a great pitch. Hanley didn't like it.
Good slider.
Pitch number 5.
Look at 4 and 5. Just perfect pitchers' pitches.
Three and 2. Reyes at second. And that one missed. Hanley stopped, lays the bat down, and heads down to first base. And that one was out. And so Dan Bellino, the home plate umpire, was all over that at bat. 4 and 5, he called strikes, and Fox Track says they were strikes. That pitch Loesch wanted, and it wasn't a strike. Giancarlo Stanton comes up in the first. Acura brings you a pitch-by-pitch look.
Fastball just off the plate. There's a good fastball. All 3 fastballs, slider misses. Now the fastball middle of the plate, and I'm sure Loesch wanted it to be one of those pitches he threw to Hanley right on the outside part, but he got a whole lot of the plate. Giancarlo made him pay. What, over 450 feet, right?
That's what they're saying, 454, which may have been a bit generous. It was a deep drive. Now Stanton, who's had the best at bats of the night, not only that home run, but a laser beam double down the right field line in the 4th.
And now things get really interesting because all of a sudden the Marlins have the tying run at the plate.
Reyes at second. Hanley Ramirez at first. Got great speed out there. The 1-0. Loesch spins one in there for a strike. Mike Matheny in his first year, the 42-year-old, the youngest manager in Major League Baseball. Changeup, buried it. It's 2-1.
One thing that Giancarlo has done well tonight, he's laid off pitches that over the last couple of games he's chased.
Line to right, back Beltran, reaches up, makes the catch. Reyes tags and is on his way to third. Hanley retreats to first. And so Stanton gave it a ride. That's a deep part of the ballpark as well.
Boy, just 3 tremendous swings tonight from Giancarlo Stanton. The home run, the double. He just missed extra bases on this, driving it to the track and chasing Beltran back near the wall.
Now you've got Logan Morrison at the plate. Greg Dobbs drove a pitch to the outfield for a sacrifice fly. And now Morrison, who pulled the ground ball to get Stanton to third, is looking for a pitch to drive. I can remember the conversation we had with Tony Perez last year about driving runs in and driving runners home from third. Some would say you look for a pitch to hit in the air, and Tony said, no, you look for a pitch you can drive. What's the difference?
Drive, you're thinking more line drive. If you're trying to hit a ball in the air, you might drop the backside and pop it up. One of the things I used to hear from different hitting coaches, you get in this situation, again, I'm going to use the term drive. You try to drive a ball right back up the middle over the pitcher's head. That's going to make you stay back, number one, and hopefully it'll keep you from dropping the backside and hitting a pop fly and not getting the job done.
Don't know that the Marlins would dare run here with Molina behind the plate, down by 3.
No, you just want to give Lomo the opportunity. Maybe with 2 strikes, deeper in the count, you might see it, but not now.
Craig is holding Hanley at first. Reyes at third. And a fastball runs away from Loesch. Loesch's pitch count much more manageable than Zambrano's. He's at 77. Zambrano is at 99. Marlins trying to inch their way back in this one. They were down 5-0 going into their first at bat. Morrison up the middle for Call, has it, races to the bag and throws him out.
Oh, he did exactly what you want him to do. Drive it up the middle. For Call, made a great play.
And the inning is over. Rafael Furcal saves a run and ends the Marlin hopes in the 6th. That's a heck of a play. At a 5-3 is this play by Rafael Furcal.
You can't hit a ball any harder. It skipped up. Furcal flagged it down and then went to the bag himself. Boy, that's just a great play by Furcal. Here he is going to the bag. He realizes that's his best chance to get the double play. With his strong arm, he beats Lomo to the bag. Wow. Frustration setting in, certainly.
And so Furcal leads it off. Nissan leaders of the game. Most double plays started. Furcal 3 shy of Jimmy Rollins. Now Zambrano has been able to get this far. He's over 100 pitches now, and he's into the 7th inning. But he's fallen behind for call 2-0. And now he's 3-0.
Keep in mind the heavy load the first inning, first couple of innings with all the pitches.
Stan, as far as stopping the slump, have Dwayne Wade and LeBron James make an appearance at Marlins Park and maybe sprinkle some of that magic dust.
Have a little one-on-one with Eric Spoelstra and Ozzie.
Anna in Coral Springs suggests body painting the energy team
with the red-orange, maybe.
That's why we have camera 12.
Ryan Webb gets loose.
Well, all the hard work that Zambrano has put in from that first inning, and the Marlins have gotten themselves within 3. There's a perfect bunt. John Jay dropping down a bunt. He surprised Hanley for sure. And the Cardinals are set up 1st and 2nd with nobody out. John Jay, the Cholula Hot Sauce Spotlight player, Columbus High School. 5th all time at 378. 2nd round pick of the Cardinals in 2006. He's going to be a nice player for a long time.
Yeah, he is. A very good center fielder. Excellent hitter. Another local product out of Douglas High School in Parkland, Anthony Rizzo, called up by the Cubs. Was having a tremendous season in AAA.
Well, it's a real test for Zambrano as Webb tries to get loose. 1st and 2nd, Holiday, Beltran, Craig, Molina. Gets a strike on that foul ball. It's 1-1. Holiday hit the comebacker, the ill-fated comebacker that Zambrano threw to center field. It started the ball rolling on a messy 5-run inning with 2 errors, capped by the 3-run Molina homer. And he's out in front 1-2.
Over the years, you see the last 10 days, one of the hottest hitters. Over the years against Zambrano, just 5 for 24, though.
It's a heck of a play. I think he bobbled it at first.
Oh, he stayed with it.
With his date, protected the date. Look at that. Protected his date, deflected, stays with it.
Great concentration.
Zambrano with a count 1-2. Got good speed out there. And Buck digs it out of the dirt. 2-2. Yolanda to stop the slump. Bring out the red-orange helmets for the first time in the regular season. Two coming. Oof. Zambrano paused. Warren Henry, Foxtrack 6 is off the plate, and it's out of the strike zone. But darn close. Wouldn't be surprised if Mike Matheny starts the runners here. You got Furcal, the lead runner with great speed. Jay, the trail runner. Zambrano checks, not running. Up the middle, Reyes, Infante. That's 2. Furcal's at third. There are 2 outs. And here comes Beltran. Saturday spectacular. The next one against the Phillies. Remember, Saturday's game is at 4:10. Autograph session with a player after the game. Enjoy a plaza party for the entire family. Bounce houses, rides, games, karaoke, and all that. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com. Ozzie Guillen doesn't want to deal with Beltran.
Yeah, pretty good choice. He's going to deal with Alan Craig, and I'll tell you what, if Zambrano pitches to Craig, gets him out, and gets through this inning, this would be a tremendous effort on his part after the way things went in the first inning.
So Beltran trots down to first. Here comes Craig, a postseason hero among many postseason heroes for the Cardinals last year. Craig hit the scorcher that kicked off of Reyes for an error in the first. He had an infield single in the third, and he struck out in the fifth.
Yeah, he hit 3 home runs in that World Series. Season high 118 pitches for Zambrano to this point.
Well, we'll find out what he's got left in the tank. Strike 1 to Craig. Alan Craig has played in 34 games this year. He's got 34 RBIs. Ball and a strike. Ball and a strike. Good breaking ball.
Needs one more inning. Zambrano needs to make one more good pitch.
One and 2 to Alan Craig. You've got Yadier Molina on deck.
All of a sudden, look at his fastball, 91. He wasn't touching 90 the first 2 or 3 innings. So he reached back a little extra on that last fastball and didn't miss by much.
You saw Dan Bellino's had a terrific game behind home plate. That pitch was out of the strike zone.
Yeah, he has.
Every borderline pitch that we've looked at, Bellino has been on it. Let's see what he comes with. 2 and 2. Misses down low. And that will start Beltran from first.
You have the feeling with Molina on deck, if Zambrano isn't able to get Craig, then Ozzie will go to the bullpen and let Webb pitch to Molina, give Molina a little something different to look at.
And that looks like the discussion right there between Ozzie and Randy St. Clair.
Plus, they know right now that Zambrano's low on fumes.
Zambrano walking around in front of the mound, and now Hanley Ramirez is over to talk to him. And here comes John Buck. It's very odd that you would see this on a 3-2 count. Two players converge on the mound. But they did, and Zambrano continues to wander behind the mound. Obviously a big moment for call at third. Beltran will be moving on the pitch to Craig. And here it is, the 3-2. Pulled foul. And he threw an off-speed pitch at 84. So we'll do it again. Oh, goodness. Zambrano walks him. We told you that Dan Bellino's been on every borderline call. This one would qualify as a borderline call. Let's see where it was.
And just off the plate.
And Ozzie Guillen right now in Bellino's face.
A little more longer, this could be Ozzie's first ejection. Bellino giving him a lot of time.
He's already been tossed.
So it is, number one. It's pretty automatic. You really can't go out there and start questioning balls and strikes.
I think a lot of that isn't on the non-call and the strike. I think a lot of that has to do with the frustrations of this month and of these last 24 hours.
And the frustrations in dealing with Zambrano, what he had to do tonight after the first inning, getting him through this far in the game.
Zambrano comes off, and a terrific effort from Zambrano after throwing 37 pitches, giving up the 5 runs. 2 errors in that first inning, one of them by Zambrano himself. Here's the pitch again.
And pitch number 125. You can pitch number 7 there just off the plate. It's amazing to his credit that Craig took it. Most players, most hitters on a 3-2 pitch that's that close are going to swing. So give him a lot of credit. But 125 pitches, a season high for Zambrano.
As Orion Webb comes in, and he has to face the guy that's done the most damage in this series for the Cardinals. Ozzie Guillen coming out, and you can see Bellino.
Yeah, as soon as he said something about the pitch, that's an immediate ejection. But now you got to get some money's worth. You got to say a few more words.
So here comes Webb. The Marlins finally have to dip into the bullpen. And it's a bullpen that has had a rough run in June. Webb finishing his warm-up tosses. Molina, 3-run homer, has lined out and popped out. Zambrano in the dugout. April and May, the Marlins bullpen a strength. Look at the ERA, look at the opponent's batting average. Only 4 homers allowed by the pen those 2 months. And look at June.
14, that's incredible when you see that number. The opponent's batting average, the ERA almost 7.
So Joey Cora running the club right now, and here is Molina, and the bases are loaded. 2-run homer last night in the 9th, a 3-run homer tonight in the 1st. And a ground ball to third. Hanley races to the bag and steps on it, and Webb in one pitch gets out of it, and the Marlins still within 3, 5-2. Right now.
Well, what sums this up pretty much is the first inning. That tapper that looked like a double play thrown into center field by Zambrano, and all of a sudden the Cardinals were in business. Zambrano finds a hole up the middle. He drives in a run. Alan Craig hits a shot. It's under the glove of Reyes. He's charged with an error, and then that guy Yadier Molina, 3-run shot. His 12th home run of the year, and Cardinals with 5 runs in that first inning, all unearned off Zambrano.
Zambrano has left the game, but Kyle Loesch remains. And Loesch gets Greg Dobbs, Omar Infante, and Scott Cousins. Just 4 hits for the Fish, 2 of them from Giancarlo Stanton, a solo homer and a double. Of course, the Marlins, the last time up, had a great opportunity to get by them. 1st and 3rd with 1 out. Logan Morrison hit a smash up the middle.
How about the ball that Giancarlo hit before that?
A warning track shot to right. Call picked it, raced to the bag, and in one motion got the bag and threw to first. Two and 1 to Dobbs. And Loesch is very comfortable right now at 81 pitches. Cardinal bullpen hasn't budged. Marlins would like to get into that bullpen. Last night. Here's the 2-1. Dobbs fouls it back to the screen. Last night, Marlins got to that bullpen with a big 7th inning. Of course, remember, had that 1 run in the 10th and had 2 runners on when Reyes lined out to end the game. 2-2 to Dobbs.
Yeah, last night the Cardinals bullpen worked 4 innings, walked 6, and gave up 5 runs.
breaking ball. Dobbs knew it and is on his way back to the dugout. Let's check in with Allison Williams.
All right, thank you guys very much. Here with former Heisman Trophy winner, Super Bowl MVP, and Marlins fan, Desmond Howard. How long have you been a Marlins fan for?
Oh, man, since about 92. I moved down here straight out of college, and I used to go to all the games. So, I just kind of fell in love with the Marlins.
And you were there for the World Series in 2003?
Yes, I was. That was a special moment for all of us. And I remember my daughter was with us, and we had a great time.
And a special moment tonight as you were able to throw out the first pitch. How did you do?
I'm going to tell you, this was so nerve-wracking for me. I almost got an ulcer. I was so nervous. It was a lot of pressure. There was a guy in front of me who threw the pitch, and his pitch hit the dirt. So I'm like, I can't hit the dirt. I can't hit the dirt. And they told me it was a strike, a little to the inside, but it crossed the plate, so I threw a strike.
That's all that matters. So you got to throw out the first pitch here with your family watching the game, and I know those still kind of one ear to the college football world.
Yeah.
Some news today, as it turns out, in 2014 we'll have a 14 playoff system. What are your thoughts on the new proposed setup?
Some big news coming out of college football. I think that it's a step in the right direction for many fans. This is what they've been clamoring for. I'm still interested in hearing how they're going to work out the wrinkles, the selection process, who's going to pick these 4 teams and what type of criteria they're going to be using to pick the 4 teams. I think that's going to be a sticking point with a lot of people. Everyone's excited right now, but once the smoke clears and the dust settles, that's when the real details start to come out.
All right, Des, thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of this game.
All right, thank you.
Guys.
5-2 St. Louis.
Big night for Mike Dunn. Nice returns since going down to AAA, and Ozzie Guillen knows he's a big factor on this club.
I'm very excited because we're going to need him. We cannot relate in choke every time we go to face lefties. And that then done, he continued to throw the ball the way he threw the last one. That's going to be a huge move for us. That'd be like Trey Samary. We need him very bad.
He's had 3 appearances since his return June 21st. 2 scoreless innings with 4 strikeouts. Got some zip on the ball, the way you saw Mike Dunn when the Marlins first picked him up from Atlanta. Guys?
All right, thanks, Craig. You see Dunn all night on Email Tuesday and Twitter Tuesday. We've been asking fans on how to stop the slump. Justin Ruggiano's out in center field.
Yeah, it's true what Ozzie was saying. A lot of times people say, well, you got to make a trade these guys, trade this guy. Sometimes in a case such as Dunn's, being sent down and then coming back and throwing the ball better, that's like acquiring someone. And hopefully that's the case. And you heard Ozzie say he's certainly going to be needed.
Joey Cora managing right now. We've had a lot of tweets and emails suggesting that Ozzie getting ejected could help stop the slump, but so far as the Marlins down 5-2 in the 8th.
I don't think Ozzie did that on purpose, but there have been managers who've done that, who've created an ejection, some excitement just to try to break things up.
I've heard umpires tell this story, and managers will admit to it. There are times when a manager goes out there and knows that he's wrong and will scream at the umpire and say, "Throw me out." Throw me out. Blankety blank. I don't think that was the case with Ozzie. I think he was frustrated. Carlos Zambrano's line tonight, 6 2/3, 7 hits, 5 runs. All of the runs are unearned because of the 2 errors. One of those errors by Zambrano in the first, in that 5-run first. He walked 5, he struck out 5. Done on a broken bat liner off the bat of Schumacher.
It's always a little better when the hitter hits a fastball back to you, but he hits it like a changeup, so you have a little more time to react. Yeah, Zambrano lowered his ERA to 3.71. And trust me, after the first 2 innings, none of us thought he'd still be in there in the 7th.
Yeah,
Great effort.
He goes 6 2/3 inning. He threw the 125 pitches. Ryan Webb goes a third of an inning. He threw 1 pitch. And Dunn is 0-1 on Daniel Descalso, the former UC Davis Aggie. And a breaking ball for a strike.
That's the whole key to that breaking ball. Mitchell Boggs will probably come in for the Cardinals. Looks like Mike Matheny's going to pinch hit. But the whole key for Dunn is that slider to throw for a strike. That sets up that pitch there. If you can only throw fastballs for a strike, hitter has a better swing at it.
Did Bronson Arroyo finally give up a hit in that ball game? Arroyo had 7 no-hit innings.
It's a tie game now.
Oh, goodness. He had a 3-0 lead and a no-hitter in the 8th. And the Brewers have tied it 3-3. Descalso fouls it at the plate. Corey Hart. Was that Corey Hart? With what looks like a 2-run double.
Yeah, pinch hit.
0-2. Descalso fouls it back and out of play. Elsewhere, teams in the Marlins division, the Phillies lead the Pirates 4-3, bottom 7 in Philadelphia. Cubs 3-2 over the Mets in the 4th in Chicago. We've had some tweets and some emails wanting to know how the runs that Zambrano gave up are unearned.
Even though he did give up the 3-run homer.
When you reconstruct an inning, if the error or errors would have ended the inning, any runs given up from that point on are unearned, unless, and correct me if I'm wrong, unless you're a relief pitcher and you come into the ball game and pick up from that point and you give up runs, your runs are earned.
I think it's different if you're a reliever, yeah.
Of course, you're listening to 2 guys who, before they did their first baseball game, didn't know how to keep score. Here's the 0-2. Ground ball, first base. Dobbs has it, races to the bag, and steps on the base. So Descalso is out. Tomorrow's starters: Joe Kelly, who turned into the hitting hero last night in the pinch hitting appearance because of the lineup snafu. An infield single to drive in a run. He gets the start. Anibal Sanchez goes for the Marlins.
And it is Kyle Loesch going to hit. You have to wonder if they had gotten something going with a couple of men on base. had that been the case, because we did see Boggs warming up. But he's only at 87 pitches.
A lot of people clamoring for camera 12. We've given you a few bits and pieces of it. En masse, many people feel that will be a slump buster. Liner. Counts 0-2. Mike says, read my bleeping tweets. Loesch rolls it out to second, and Infante fires to first. Bottom of the 8th coming up, and a little camera 12 headed to break. 5-2 Cardinals. Bottom of the 8th, 5-2. Cardinals on top. Yadier Molina again. The 2-run homer last night tied it in the 9th. The 3-run homer finished off the 5-run first. All the runs unearned. Giancarlo Stanton has been a bright spot for the Fish. Toyota Tren. Cardinals have won the last 7 meetings against the Marlins. And they've done so. Outscored them 38-22. Buck, fly ball, center field. All right, Tommy, Mike wanted us to read one of his bleeping tweets. And
all right, go for it.
What about calling up?
We don't want to let Mike get too bleeping mad.
No. What do you think about calling up Kyle Skipworth from the minors? And I've seen a few tweets about Matt Dominguez as well.
Well, you know, we check in on these guys every so often. Right now, Matt Dominguez is hitting .217. That's in AAA, folks. That's not the big leagues.
How about Kyle Skipworth?
I'm almost there. Kyle Skipworth is at .211, and that's 61 games. A lot of strikeouts, 72 strikeouts, and he's in AA.
Ruggiano, breaking ball, a strike.
How about those for some bleeping numbers?
Hey, we appreciate the participation. Thanks for the tweets, Mike. Rick wants another. Rick wants another commercial-free game. Remember that?
Our sponsors weren't too crazy about that, though. Hey, Kyle Loesch today, Rich, 20 of 27 first pitch strikes.
Ruggiano came in the double switch. Takes away, and it's 2-1. And Ruggiano is aboard. So a 1-out walk. Now you got the top of the order, Reyes, and Hanley Ramirez right behind him.
Well, that's going to be all, looks like, for Loesch. Here comes Matheny.
On his way to the mound, he's going to remind
Read fast
Loesch that you can vote for your favorite All-Star on Marlins.com. Vote a maximum 25 times, and 100 fans will be randomly selected to each win 2 free Marlin tickets. One grand prize winner will receive a 22-person luxury suite for a game. Go to Marlins.com and vote now. Now we step aside in a 5-2 game. Played Joey Votto, deservedly so at first. Dan Ugla, that's his name at second base for Call. He's having a pretty good year. David Wright having a great year at third. Ryan Braun in left. Matt Kemp in center. Carlos Beltran in right field.
You know, really, of all of those, and the fans take heat a lot in their voting, the only one that I disagree with is Matt Kemp, only because he's been injured for a good part of the year, and it doesn't look like he's going to be ready to play in the All-Star game either.
Mitchell Boggs now takes over for Kyle Loesch at a crucial moment in the ball game. Miami down 5-0 from the get-go. Got a run back in that first. Got another in the fourth. Came close in the sixth, but still down by 3. Smoked into right field. That's a base hit. Picked up there by Beltran. Reyes, his second hit of the ballgame. It seems like Reyes is getting a couple of hits a night now.
Well, he was 2 for 5 last night. 2 for 4 so far tonight. The last 2 balls he's really stung. The double in the 6th inning, and he hit that ball on the nose. By the way, either way this inning or the way things turned out, there was no way Mike Matheny was going to allow Loesch to pitch to Stanton one more time either.
Hanley Ramirez 0 for 2 with a walk. And takes a fastball for a strike. 0-1.
Boggs, primarily fastball slider guy. And he's been a very good, serviceable 7th, 8th inning guy for the Cardinals the last 2 or 3 years.
.96 miles an hour, and Hanley goes after it. Tony La Russa, a guy that certainly used his bullpen extensively, creatively as well.
He used a lot of guys, Boggs being one of them, to close games. He had 4 saves last year.
Oh, 2. He stays away. There were many times last year, especially as the Cardinals made their September charge, where La Russa wouldn't hesitate if a guy didn't have his best stuff, getting into that pen in the 5th or the 6th inning, and then piecemealing it from there. And with pieces like Boggs and Mott, and those guys were used a lot and responded in September. 1-2 coming. Hanley hits a ball to left center field. Jay and Holiday converge, and it's Jay who makes the catch.
Looks like Hanley got a pretty good pitch to hit, too.
So here's the matchup. It's Boggs and Stanton. A home run in the 1st, a double in the 4th, and about a 390-foot fly ball to right in the 6th. Molina, you know, watching Molina last night and the whole sequence of things with, you know, Derek Lilliquist having to step in, Dave Duncan with an illness in his family stepping aside for the moment as the pitching coach. Molina is like the vice president of pitching.
You and I have heard both the same thing in our talks with Mike Matheny, the leadership role that Molina has taken on this year. And I just thought about it with this series and then with the Phillies coming to town. We're going to see Carlos Ruiz, a couple of guys. They're not on that leaderboard. Posey leading, but these 2 guys are having great years.
Stanton hits a fly ball to right field. Beltran over into the corner, and he's there to make the catch in fair territory. And the Marlins' 8th inning fizzles. Cardinals on top, the Budweiser bar and balcony. What a great camera location. We really have to thank Mike Fernandez for risking life and limb by getting out there and putting the camera up on that catwalk above the scoreboard. Mike Dunn continuing on for the Fish, and he gets the 9th. At least he'll start the 9th. Top of the order, Rafael Furcal, John Jay, and Matt Holliday. Edward Mujica. Jay has this tweet: with Tony La Russa no longer the Cardinals manager, he's retired. who's going to manage the National League All-Star team. And La Russa will.
Yes, he will.
Tony La Russa is coming back to one last time manage an All-Star team. How many times? For La Russa, that will be what, 6? He went to 3 World Series in Oakland, right? Did he go to 3 World Series with the Cardinals, I believe? He did not get there with the White Sox. To right, Stanton is there, and he makes the catch. Well, last night it was Jason Mott, and the Marlins did some damage against Mott. They got a run, had a couple of hits, drew a walk. Of course, Reyes lined out with 2 on in a 1-run game to finish the night. And so Mott, who was blowing 98, 99 last night, is warming up.
He still throws like a catcher. Takes his warm-up tosses like he's making a throw to second base.
It's okay, it works.
Yeah, it sure has.
John Jay, a bunt single his last time up. He's got 2 hits. Jay lines it to left. Morrison in, back, makes the catch. Jay hit it on the nose, and here comes Holiday. If the Marlins get a couple of scoreless innings out of Mike Dunn, that would be a nice shot in the arm.
I think with the right-hander coming up, Joey Cora has already made the motion to bring in Mujica. But it really does look like a different Mike Dunn. It's great. He's throwing the ball well.
An inning in 2/3.
21 pitches, 18 of those were strikes.
And he gets 5 outs. 5-2 Cardinals, pitching change. Here comes Mujica. In the dugout, Marlins Live, Jeff Conine, Craig Minervini hard at work. That's right after the ball game, brought to you by Checkers. Edward Mujica has hit a couple bumps in the road his last few times out. And he throws a changeup for a strike to Matt Holliday. He faced Holliday last night, and remember, he ended the inning on the rocket that Holliday hit off of Shane Robinson's foot. Robinson was the runner at first. He was starting towards second. Holliday burned one to that right side, and it caught Robinson square in the foot. Holliday got a base hit, but Mujica got an out on runner's interference, and that ended the inning.
Yeah, dead ball. Runner's out, but the batter gets a hit.
Every now and then, even the tape room misses a cutoff man.
Well, it happens on email, Twitter Tuesday. There's so much to do, so little time.
That's a Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka quote, isn't it? 2-2 coming. And it's fouled back.
That had me fooled. I thought it was live. I thought Holiday got hit.
Here's the 2-2, and it's outside. There you go. 49 career games. He is right on top of that Marlin killer list. A lot of that damage was done in a Rockies uniform. And he takes inside. Mujica has walked him. Now he faces Beltran.
We talked about walks for Mujica, and something he doesn't do a lot of, but maybe a little tentative because of the way he's gotten hit around the last couple of outings.
He gave up a home run in 2 previous appearances to last night. Gave up a home run against Toronto and on the road in Boston.
Yeah, the one in Boston hit by Will Middlebrooks.
Will Middlebrooks has third base all to himself now.
Didn't have to worry about Kevin Youkilis.
And the Marlins spent a good part of the last week and a half hearing about those rumors, watching Middlebrooks get hot. Saw Adrian Gonzalez go out and play some right field. That won't happen anymore. He's back at first base, Middlebrooks at third, and Big Papi, of course, DHing. Mujica just has not looked sharp his last 3-4 times out.
Anytime you see him throw this many balls, you know, he number one, he just doesn't feel comfortable because he has gotten hit hard.
Well, he's been a strike throwing machine in his career.
Look at his last 3 outings.
Counts full. Holiday will be rolling from first. And Mujica pumps it up to 94 and gets the strikeout. Marlins down to their last 3 outs, trailing in this one 5-2. Florida, brought to you by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Checkers, feast on. In Miami tonight, one night after the big meltdown last night in the ninth, the Cardinals took control of this game early. And try as they might, the Marlins have been unable to get any closer than 3 runs. Shane Robinson into the ball game. He's in left field. And the guy that finished it last night, blowing 98-99, Jason Mott. Now, the Marlins did get a run against Mott, and they had a couple runners on when the ball game ended on the line drive out by Jose Reyes.
You see the numbers on Jason Mott trying to pick up save number 16. We talked about him having been converted from a catcher. I was talking to him a little bit before the game, and what's really helped him, and we talked about it last night, is that cut fastball he throws.
Morrison, a swing and a miss, 95 miles an hour for Mott.
We saw Mott get it up to 98, 99 last night. The cutter is usually around 92 or 93.
And that cutter just came back and caught the outside corner. So it's 0-2.
It's a pitch or something similar when Chris Hatcher is able to master a second pitch like that. It'll certainly help him.
Morrison, strange roll as it kicked to the left for call, and he throws him out. It's been an email and a Twitter Tuesday. We thank everyone for participating. We had a couple tweets about guys in the minor leagues, Matt Dominguez being one of them, Kyle Skipworth the other. Alex in Coral Springs, how about a more realistic suggestion for a call-up from AAA? Mike Cervenak, he's hitting .373 and his OPS is .991.
Well, you know, I don't know. I don't know him as a player, but he's in AAA and he's 35, 36 years old. He's been around a long time. So you wonder if he's there just to kind of fill in the roster there.
Dobbs goes after the first pitch fastball, and John Jay is under it. Jason Mott is an out away from another save. Two outs, and here comes Infante. Infante last night had maybe the most impressive at bat against Mott. He turned a 98-mile-an-hour fastball into a 390-foot drive off the middle of the wall in left center field for a double.
Well, the Marlins 1 out away from going 5-18 in the month of June.
Ball and a strike. Infante a 7-game hit streak, but he is 0 for 3 tonight. Little tapper back to the mound. Mott has it, fires to first in time. 7 pitches and a save for Mott. Another win for the Cardinals, and the Fish have fallen, and right now they're having trouble getting up. 34-40 now, 6 under are the Miami Marlins. The Cardinals continue to roll. St. Louis 40-35. 5 runs, 7 hits for St. Louis. 2 runs, just 5 hits, and 2 big errors leading to 5 unearned runs for the Fish. Marlins Live, presented by Checkers, next.